Hello, everybody. It is me, Demetra K, and I am sitting here with Donovan, a recovering Democrat Sadiq, and I hope that you guys are all having a great day. I should say that the purpose of the Demetra K show is to promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community to make us an even better people, with the emphasis on even, because we're great people, but we can always strive to do better. I'd like to say a big giant thank you, hello, and welcome to YouTube and Facebook. You are the other side of the conversation. Not only are you viewers, but you are participants and your family. We love you dearly. Sometimes I share the link. If I share the link and your profile looks like this, please show me this. Then you can go back to that. If you're not comfortable, just know, especially if I've never seen you on here before, I absolutely must see your face. If I do open up the link, please limit your commentary to no more than 2 minutes. After that, I will have to interrupt you and say thank you very much and put you back in the comment section because other people may want to come on. So I should also say, before I give y'all the topic, this is not in any way to gloat or anything like that. It's really just to have a conversation about the topic at hand. I'm not saying that we should advocate for any of this at all. I just want to be very clear that I'm not advocating that. I should also say in the comment section, let's be as respectful as possible. It's not that we disagree, it's how we disagree. Same thing on the panel. Again, I'm not advocating for what we are going to talk about. This is merely for the sake of discussion. Please be careful in the comment section for the things that you say in the comment section, because, you don't want the little body bots, to come on and say what they talking about. So I just want to be clear. But we're going to be talking about a father getting revenge after a cop takes his son's life during a traffic pursuit. Of course, I'm going to get into all of the particulars and details. And we're just going to have a conversation about that. As you guys can see on the thumbnail, it says an eye for an eye. With a question mark. So again, let's be careful of the way we have this conversation before I give it to Donovan. Beverly, how you doing? Sharon, what's going on with you? One who cares, how you doing? Brother Dom, our triple OG moderator. Thank you to all the moderators. Michelle W, what's going on? Roz, Clifford, how you doing? Troy, Sister Shirley, Simo, Maureen, Gary Mack, CJ, Ab Raffo. I hope I said that right. How you doing? JJ Mars, Def Nose, Tracy. Hope you're all having a great day. Donovan, what say you?
All right, you guys, please bear with me. It is Sunday. It's 3 p.m. That means it's Demetra K time. Hey, we really appreciate you guys tuning in and watching the program, because there's a lot of things going on YouTube. There's a lot of things going on in the world. WNBA preseason has started. I know a lot of people think that I'm anti-female, but Demetra will tell you, I really do support women when it comes to the sports and stuff like that, and the Title IX and stuff. I'm a big advocate for good basketball. The women's league is the last form of pure basketball, so team basketball. So I really enjoy that. So again, basketball is going on. If you guys don't know, you can watch a lot of the WNBA basketball games on ION TV. So it's not like on the major network. I know you got ABC and CBS. ABC, you can watch it there, but you can also watch it during the week on ION TV. So if you guys could get that locally or something, you can watch some of the games there. And it's going to be a pretty good season, because they're 1 year out from a new TV deal and bargaining agreement. They still don't make any money, but they're making more money than they ever did in their history. So they're still going to be in the red, but they're making more money in the history. So with that being said, you guys, do us a favor. There's a scrolling banner at the bottom that says, please donate. And for those that have already donated, we thank you so much. To continue to have these great conversations, we've got to motivate the content creator. And that's one way you could do it. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, Cash, Money Order, however you guys want to do it. Today is May 4th. May 4th means there's 20 days left. And in Columbus, Ohio, the Black Expo, Demetra K, Brother Phil Scott, Vicky Dillard, the African Diaspora News crew will be at the Black Expo. So if you guys haven't got your tickets yet and you happen to be in the area, you can still see Demetra K live and check her out and see what she's talking about and what they are going to be talking about. So don't forget that. Also, African Diaspora News Channel app, you can download that on Google Play, Apple Store. Again, Google Play, Apple Store, download it. You get videos that you don't see on your regular YouTube algorithm. So if you got that, the annual subscription is the best way to go. That's what I get. A lot of stuff going on about to kick off in Africa, y'all. If y'all ain't paying attention, the European Union, they don't like the fact that them Africans are telling them to leave and get out, and they don't want to leave, and there's stuff kicking off. So I don't want to spook you. I don't want to scare you, But what happens over there eventually affects us over here. And if we're not paying attention, we're going to be too late. So again, thank you guys for joining us. I think this is a good conversation to come up. I want to recommend for you guys, especially you men, if you haven't seen the movie South Central starring Glenn Plummer, great actor, is one of the most unsung 90s movies. If you've seen it, it's about a father who wises up, and it took a Muslim in prison to explain it to him, how it's done and what he needs to do. And he goes after his son who was going in the wrong direction that he went. And he wants to stop all that race. So I just want to put that out there. Demetria, let's get into this conversation and see what our co-hosts have to say.
All right, and so hello to everybody that's come on here. Let's get into it for the sake of time. All right, and as I said, let's be very careful of the conversation that we have here, as it is a very sensitive topic, and I do not mean to gloat or to, advocate for any, thing that I'm about to tell you about. So just be careful. So anyway, sounds like last Wednesday there was a hot pursuit, police chase nevertheless, where police officers were chasing, I guess, alleged stolen vehicle that was being driven by, or at least one of the passengers in the car was that of Ryan Hinton. He was 18 years old. Now, the police officer said that Ryan jumped out of the car, and within 6 seconds, he, being Ryan, aimed a weapon at him. And then from that point, you guys know what happened. The officer neutralized him, taking his life. So then the next day, his father, Rodney, sounds like he went to, view the body cam, for what I understand. And then 2 hours later, he allegedly, I'm going to say allegedly to all of this, allegedly decided to take his vehicle and ram it into another officer that was working a graduation. And this took place in Cincinnati, Ohio. So that particular officer was ran into and then died later on at the hospital. So what I'm going to do is show you all a video compilation that I put together, and then we can have a conversation. Here we go.
Connection between these two incidents. The driver of today's vehicle that struck a deputy has a family relationship with the 18-year-old that we shot yesterday.
Chief, is the person who hit the deputy the father of the person who was shot yesterday?
Yes.
Ryan Hinton's father, 38-year-old Rodney Hinton, is charged with aggravated murder in the deputy's death. He was taken to University Hospital in critical condition. Hours later, the Hamilton County Sheriff's deputy dies. The CPD homicide unit investigating both the death of the deputy killed today and the death of the 18-year-old shot by police.
In terrible circumstances, where will the defendant be housed, and will he be safe? And I ask that because he was transferred, as I understand it, to Clermont County yesterday.
That's correct.
On my order.
That's correct.
And will he be returned to Clermont County until Tuesday?
It's all understanding he'll be returned to Clermont.
And you have a safe environment for him there in Clermont County?
Yes, sir.
You'll return him on Tuesday, May the 6th at 8:30 a.m. for a hearing at 9 o'clock in the morning?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
Your Honor, for the record, we'd ask the court to put a bond on him now, but we understand that it's not a voluntary request.
All right, no bond.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we can hold him at no bond for 72 hours,
Yes,
is that right?
Yes, correct.
Thank you. All right, thank you so much.
Okay. So I want to rewind that back just a little bit so y'all can watch it again.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we can hold him at no bond for 72 hours,
Yes,
is that right?
Yes, correct.
Thank you. All right, thank you so much.
Let me remove that. Okay. So again, y'all saw the reporter asked the I guess it's the police chief there, is there any relation? And she said, yes, that's the father of the 18-year-old that, she said we shot yesterday. And again, Allegedly, Rodney, the father, rammed his vehicle into another officer unrelated to that particular incident, eventually taking his life. So y'all saw him there in court. The judge is basically saying, you know, I basically, we need to guarantee his protection. As y'all saw, there was about 30 police officers in there, which is, you know, like the last time you saw that, right? So clearly, I guess they're in there to show solidarity, I guess, for the officers as life was taken, and maybe some sort of intimidation. But y'all saw as he walked out of there, he held his head up, and I don't know what he was saying to him. Looked like maybe he was speaking directly to the sister there. She didn't really, you know, look his way, but from what I gathered by reading the body language, he was like, and I'm not scared, you know. Basically, he, allegedly, I don't know how he's going to plead. Sounds like he's going to have a hearing on Tuesday, but yeah. So of course, there's been a larger conversation about this. I've seen it over the last couple of days, in regards to the eye for an eye angle, and I've also heard the angle of people are just tired because at the end of the day, his son allegedly, you know, was in a police chase and they took his life. Whatever they're saying that he, you know, was going to shoot or whatever. We don't know if that's the case or not. Again, they said the father viewed the footage 2 hours before he allegedly went out and did what he did. But it should also be said that Black people are 2 times more likely to be killed by the police. Now, there are more white people killed, but if you're talking about numbers, disproportionately, we are 14% of the population from what they tell us. So the numbers, you know, kind of make us more if you really do the math. And with that, Black people are often robbed of due process, right? You're in a police chase or whatever the case is. No matter how wrong you are, you know, let's say, you know, if there was no gun involved, you still allow due process. We know there's plenty of cases where white people do a whole lot of funky things in the presence of the police and to the police, and they make it to the courthouse, you know, to be able to have a jury and a trial and all that other stuff. But a lot of times, especially with us, police officers are usually judge, jury, and executioner. Now, with that, I still want to be very sensitive about what I'm saying. I think people are just tired. I think people are getting tired. I think a lot of people have a hard time reconciling that you took my child's life, you know, and robbed him of, let's say, due process. I think it's, and this is not the first time, I should say. You guys know there's countless situations like this, but I think it's really saying, and I haven't spoken to Rodney's, the father, or heard anything, but I can only imagine he was probably just at his wit's end. You know, my child is gone. Maybe what he saw on that body cam he didn't like or agree with what they were saying, and maybe he just lost it. We don't know, right? But I think it definitely does send a message to the cops and anybody else that, yeah, people aren't going to just keep lying down and letting you take their loved ones' lives without doing something. Again, I'm not advocating for that. I'm just trying to make sense of it. So again, I want to have a conversation with y'all and see what you guys think about it. And I'm going to get to the comment section. Donovan?
Like you summed it up really great. I'm really looking at this case, and again, as a father, I can only imagine what this man saw on that tape and his emotions going through it. Now, I got a degree in with that social and behavioral science, so we don't know how this everybody reacts to things very, very differently. And I'm not going to sit here and say the way he reacted was right or wrong, because I don't know. I'm not in this man's feelings. I don't know how close he was with his son. There's a lot of us that have children out there. We're not close with our children. So again, his emotions, that his son probably could have been his world or whatever. And, it goes back to the fact of, from what I'm seeing, from what you've already shown, because I haven't really been following the story, the propaganda they put out on Black men that we don't care about our children or we don't love our children. To me, this is an example of a father that obviously loved his children. If he's willing to go to jail and possibly die, says a lot. How many of you guys saw the movie John Q? Denzel Washington. Different scenario, but the same premise, right? So again, there are a lot of fathers out. Dads rock. I don't care what anybody says. Dads rock. when the father's not present, it leaves a hole in the children, be it male or female's lives. And again, I pray for this man, and I hope he gets justice. But looking at that video, Demetra, did you see the faces of the white officers? And I noticed there was no black officers in that group of 30-something officers. There were no black male officers. Nothing against the sisters. I'm saying, what does that say with me looking at that video and not seeing one black male officer? And maybe that's just the view that I saw, the clip that I saw. But the point is, all of those officers, and you didn't see not one black one, that's kind of telling me a little something is going on more than I would think so. And if this man went off after seeing a video, the police video, and you don't see any black male cops in there, is that sending a message to us that maybe, they kind of are in solidarity with the defendant? I don't know. But again, this is going to be an interesting case if people follow it. And I think I'm going to start following this case to see how it comes out. I can't say he's guilty. I can't say he's, well, obviously something happened. So we know he's not innocent of whatever he's alleged to have happened. But what were the underlying circumstances? But what's more important is, what do you guys think about it? I mean, I'm seeing the video for the first time. I'm seeing this for the first time. Some of you guys have probably seen it for the first time. What are your opinions on it?
Hey, brother Reggie, how you doing? Says they're gonna break that promise and whoop him in custody. Just kind of looking at the dad's energy, I think he's probably like, I don't care. I don't care. I think when you get to that point, you're just like, I don't care. You can do whatever you want to do to me. But, I just don't care at this point, right? And that's really, I don't want to call them dangerous, but when a person gets to that point, watch out, right? Because they're not really thinking about the A's and the B's and the C's and what's right and what's wrong. They're like, you know what? It's on, right? But yeah, I think that's probably why the judge was saying that. It remains to be seen, really. Yes, I'm like, indeed, tired. People are just tired, right? Terry says the cops ain't there to protect this black man. Nah, they were there, I think, probably more so in solidarity and intimidation, right? But he was like, y'all gonna do what y'all gonna do to me. But guess what? I don't know. I'm gonna leave it at that. Queen of Diane, I hope everything is going all right. I know you said life has been lifing. I really do hope everything is, much better now. Black Butterfly says yesterday FBAs is not today's FBAs. I heard that. Mama T, what's going on with you? Says he lost his son. He feels like he doesn't have nothing to lose. There you go. When a person feels like they don't have nothing to lose, watch out. There you go. Buckhorse, how you doing? Says I blame the police accountability now. Okay. Simo says brother walked in with his head held up like a soldier. He said I walked out with his head like a soldier. Made me choke a little bit. He's just praying for him. Yeah, I mean, I felt him. I felt them on that one. Like, y'all, you take people's kid, and I'm not saying the son was in the right or the wrong. That all needs to be, I guess, I don't know, tried or looked into. But you can't ask people to be all right with you taking a family's, a loved one's life, and then they're gonna go home, the cop, have dinner or whatever the case is, and you're trying to figure things out. Asarte, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Panther Strike, what's going on with you? Let's see who else is here. Tracy says the cops are nothing but a legal gang. A lot of cases they are. Negro, she says, what did the father see? I didn't know, but whatever it was, they said 2 hours later it was on like popcorn. Sister Shirley says 2 wrongs don't make it right, but it does even the score. Ooh, stronger mermaid, a strong mermaid. I'm sorry. How you doing? It says white man bad. Okay, whatever. Let's see here. Black Butterfly says, and we get more time, and sometimes they allegedly plant evidence. Allegedly, right? Nubia King, how you doing? Says Cincinnati is one of the most racist towns in this country. Remember the Klan? Yep, come on now. Was there in a black neighborhood raising hell, and they ran them out of there. The father is innocent, allegedly. But yes, Ohio is one of the places too where the Klan started to get their baby teeth as well. Thunder says, question, am I wrong to believe that with the mentality and the spirit of the general public, this will more than likely become a regular occurrence? I'm going to just say you said it, I didn't. I think people are tired for sure. All right, Black Butterfly, be easy. And I'm going to try to be relevant with these comments because I know sometimes I get behind. Raj says this generation ain't down with the turn. the other cheek, bull, speed. Absolutely. Brian, how you doing? Long time no see. He says, what would they do if that was their child? Come on now, you know what they would do. Panther Strike says, Queen Demetria, FBAs are done with the slave patrols. They're taking our brothers and sisters' lives with impunity. He says, the powder keg was ignited with this case. And I think it was actually, ignited long before that. It was kind of dormant. And y'all know what I mean. But yeah, I totally agree. Elder Dwayne, how you doing? Says, killing is sad. People are getting tired of police abuse. Yeah. It's that frog in a boiling pot of water. Eventually the frog is going to either boil or is going to jump out, right? Jacoby, did I say hello to you? If not hello, it says there's a cause and effect to everything. And they didn't learn anything after George Floyd riot. It actually got worse. These are not the civil rights generation anymore. Come on now. Rodney, how you doing? It says the father was Generation X. No, I think he was Gen Z because he's 38. Yeah, so he's 38. I'm Generation X. Let's see here. Thunder says, think about the George Floyd uprising and the police were scared as hell to point. He says they were abandoning entire police stations. Absolutely. Monet says, eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. Looks like we're getting our own justice. Yeah, and again, I'm not advocating for any of that, but I can tell you, I know a few people that if that happened to them, they're not gonna sit down and take it lightly. I know that for a fact. So, Team Truth, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Let's see. Sharon says, I think people are tired too, especially after seeing the tape. Yep. Sarte says, one of ours. You said two of yours. Thunder says, and this man truly loved his son. No one can question that. Absolutely. Brother Reggie says, salute to all the mods in the chat. Yes, indeed. Thank you, D from NYC. Long time to see. How you doing? Says, so don't forget the movie American Skin. Yes, which is a great movie by Nate Parker. Yes, indeed. Sagittarius Goddess, how you doing? 540, what's going on with you, Railroad? You said, here comes the race card. You keep on, you're going to see the block faster than you see the race card. I promise you that. One who cares says, exactly, people are tired. Some are afraid. The father is at the bottom mentally. Hold on a second. Okay, got you. Keep on. I'm going to block you for real. Let's see here. No, how you doing? Says, you get tired knowing that when your black loved one is unalive by them, they get free. Yeah, they're like, well, oops, right? Hold on a second. Stronger Mermaid is swimming with the fishes. Blocked. Okay, so let's see. Terry says, I don't believe the cops were telling the truth. It remains to be seen, right? All right, so let me skip down. Queen Adaya says that is pure propaganda. My dad was 100% present, rest in heaven. Amen. He loved my mom, his wife of almost 50 years till the treacherous cancer took him away. Yes, indeed. JJ says, where's the Democrats, Kamala? Well, Kamala did a speech the other day somewhere. I fell asleep on it. I tried to watch it. Yamel, how you doing? Says, eye for an eye. Ronnie says, I've seen the disparities in the press conferences about the two situations describing the deceased. Okay. Brian says, correct. People are tired. This have been going on with no one really stepping up, and they feel comfortable doing this even though he did what he did, but it's necessary in so many ways to open eyes for him and respect his courage. Yeah, I just think he got to the point where he's like, I don't care. Panther Strike says, family, Mr. Hinton was flanked by several white police officers during the arraignment, but they chose to put a sister up front for propaganda purposes. Yeah, and I even saw where she walked them in, right? OG Patrice, how you doing? What's going on? Mr. Mystical Black Realms, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Nubian King says his son did not have a gun because he dropped the gun, and the pigs heard it drop. When he came from between those garbage bins, he did not even look at the pigs. He says because he kept running to get away. So yeah, all that, I guess will play out. But whatever the father saw, he wasn't buying it, right? Tracy says cops' jobs were never to protect. Absolutely. Meska, how you doing? Says two wrongs don't make it right, but it damn sure even y'all crazy. Even the score. I see a lot of people saying that sentiment. All right, so let's see here. Let me skip down. Easy E, where you be? Hope you're doing well. Okay, let's see. Yamelia says, if my mama cry a lot, mama's gonna cry. Tragic. High Negro says, I think this proves his son didn't have a gun. I don't know. Remains to be seen, right? Kenneth says, black people are just tired. So tired of the BS that black father had enough. I'm not judging him. What his son, what he said, what his son did. I think he snapped. Is that what you're saying? And Al, how you doing? Says it's not worth risking your life after taking the law in your own hands. It's tough, but you have to control your emotions and get you the best lawyer possible. Yeah, I get that. I would think that, would be the optimal way to go, but it's kind of like if you're unless you're in somebody's shoes, it's hard to say what they should do because you've not been in their shoes. I'm not saying it's right, but you can't really tell that father how to feel about his son being gone, and especially when you see that normally police officers get that, if that, right? No, he says them folks show you every day that black lives are nothing. Yeah, we absolutely totally agree with you. Let's see who else on here. Brother Roy, how you doing? Black first, yes indeed. 48 TCO, what's going on with you? Says so the other officer he hit was an officer that took his son's life. No, totally different officer. Not the same officer. And I want to reiterate that. Arniba, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. HD, how you doing? Says, does he have a give, send, go? Yeah, I know why you asking. I think I know why you're asking. That white lady that caught that little 5-year-old black boy, the N-word, and she's raised over $500,000 on give, send, go. So, yeah, he's going to need some help, I would think,
Yeah, and do you guys realize that the CIA and our intelligence officials have infiltrated the police departments? Remember, we talk about Operation Mockingbird. That is a COINTELPRO program that's been going on since the 1950s, where they control the media and they use propaganda to make you think a certain thing in a certain way. In the police departments, they've infiltrated police departments to kind of do the same thing, to do certain things to certain people. As we know, the CIA threw a whole bunch of money into Los Angeles and crack and all the black neighborhoods around the country to fund their war with the Contras. So again, we have to think about what has happened and where we're at today and how it functions and what is going on. I'm not saying what happened to this man is not important. It is very important, but to me, it also ties into the policies of the police department, in my opinion. Are they doing what they did in Vietnam and all these other, Afghanistan and all these other countries here within the United States? And it seems like it's always black people that pay the price.
Absolutely. Selmo, how you doing? Hope you're doing well this fine Sunday afternoon. Carrie, he says, woman cursed, yes, autistic child, and it says call them the N-word and raise over. Oh no, you mean 600,000? It's about 600,000 probably now, and this happened the other day, right? So yeah, her folks are getting behind it. From what I understand, she's from Ukraine. She came over here, whatever. But yeah, they've raised a copious amount of money for her. They got this thing talking about we're tired of feeling white guilt. And I want to know, when was y'all ever feeling guilty about anything you've ever done to black people? Knock it off.
And isn't that funny? All those Ukrainians, Joe Biden flew over here. This woman happens to be a Ukrainian, and they can willingly give her all of this money for disrespecting American citizens that happen to be adjective black. And they give her all the money. So it kind of, when people argue with me about the Democratic Party and how it's the party of the people and it's the black people's party, I can show you a bunch of evidence that says differently.
Hey, McDaniels, how you doing? Says Donovan, if a black male officer was there, I'm pretty sure he would have done nothing. I know this from experience and looking at the videos. The black male officer turned head. He said, like a good little boy. Yeah, I totally agree. What was a black man gonna do?
Yep. Yeah, no, I'm not saying he was gonna do something, but I've never seen a video where the cops are all in support and they don't have old Negro Jethro there to justify what they're doing. They usually put one or two black men. Of course, the black women were there to make it seem like, well, yeah, they're behind it. So yeah, you can't say it's racism or it's caught one way. Even black officers are fathers. And so what I'm saying is, to me, when you don't see one black male, that's saying a lot.
Hey, Eugene says, Demetra is my favorite on this channel. I love it. Appreciate you for that. Your checks in the mail. Oh, Michelle says, good evening, Donovan. I'm always here. I think there are several of us with the same name. Yes, there's a few Michelles on here, but I try to remember all of them. I'm getting older, but my memory is still pretty good. Tidbits, how you doing? He says, white's gonna learn the hard way. Yeah. Black Pixie, how you doing? Says it's the uniform, not the man in the uniform. He mowed down the vehicle.
Well, you know, I'm famous for always saying this. When people say, oh, there's some good cops out there. How can you say there are good cops when they won't turn in the bad cops? Demetra, do you understand my premise with that? Yeah. How can you say there are good cops if they refuse to turn in the bad cops? So by logic and common sense, they're all bad.
540D, thank you so much for the donation. That is a hell of a donation. Love and appreciate you for that. Thank you so much. Let's see here. Oh, Easy, you say it's up to $1 million now? So we're talking about the woman who cursed out the child and called it 5011 N-words. But that's what they do, right? You know, and they want to spend their money on that. I don't care. I don't even know why people get mad at that kind of stuff. I see people getting mad and stuff. Like, who cares? It's their money. It's nothing new. It's what they do, right? I always tell y'all, I don't care what y'all say, you can get mad. But their woman, she is above reproach. She could do any and everything. Get towns burnt down. Get dudes, you know, as Brother Phil describes it, I like the way he describes it, put on trees and a whole host of stuff. And she always going to be innocent, right? But, you know, we got to be aware of that. But I don't care what they do with their money. If they want to throw it after that, you do the voodoo that you do so well. Every day. I don't care. I would never even express disgust at that because I don't care. You know what I mean? Just like they shouldn't be caring what we do. Thunder says, whatever that father saw in that footage sent him over the top. It must have been so egregious and unjustified and unnecessary that he snapped. No sane person would ever do that. I agree. Whatever he saw, it sent him, right? Okay. And Tracy says she duped her thing. Oh, she moved it up rather than 1 million. That's what she's going for. Yeah, I mean, if she like, y'all suckers want to give it to me, hell, I'm gonna take it. Nubian King says a witness saw a whole video, and said, and he admitted on another podcast that the young man did not have a gun. The pigs are chopping up that video, and they are not showing it in its full view. Well, you know, again, it all remains to be seen. But that father, whatever he saw, he was like, Sunlight says, call ICE on the Ukrainian. Trump doesn't like them either. Well, they said that the police department is involved. You know, it's supposed to be a hate crime. But again, y'all hear your Rollins and all of them talking about that Asian hate crime bill. That was for you too. How? Because had that been an Asian or somebody from the Jewish community, something like that, that lady wouldn't have been able to get one of them words out her mouth before she was under the jail, right? But when it comes to us, well, we got to investigate. We got to wait and see. But that hate crime bill was supposed to be for us. That's why I tell y'all, read it, because the first 6 paragraphs does not say anything about anybody else but the Asian Pacific Islander community. But the Democrat shields and the people that do the bidding of the Democrats, they went on to try to tell you as Black people that hate crime bill protects you too. Where? If it don't protect the 5-year-old little boy, then who will it protect? She's caught on live and in living color 4D, calling that little boy 15 different types of N-words and was proud to do it. And her people raised all that money and ain't no hate crime bill. They gonna wait and see. So our Black people, we need to get our stuff together. Wait a minute. We got to get our stuff together and stop being focused on everybody else's stuff. And we also got to be sure that we don't vote for people just because they Black and a whole host of other things, right? We really got to be logical about the things that are going on. But I'm going to tell you, I can't tell y'all who to listen to or what not to listen to, but Roland ain't it. Because by now, from what his account, that hate crime bill should have got her locked up and she free as a bird.
Well, you know, Demetra, I know this is a touchy topic for a lot of people, but guess what? I'm not worried because, you know, our boule, all our Black lawyers, our civil rights lawyers, they're going to be on this case. And they're going to go in there, they're going to fight it all the way up to the Supreme Court like they've always been doing in all these cases in the modern age. That was sarcasm, you guys.
Right. Come on, Sister Shirley. Said every Black man ain't a punk. Come on now. Let's see. I'm going to skip down because I am so behind. I see y'all comments, but let me get caught up. Let's see. Mad Dog, did I say hello to you? If not, hello. Avenge the ancestors. Yes, indeed. How you doing? Mad Dog says, screw Roland Martin. Team Truth, he says, for real, says no more roll. I mean, I'm just saying he should be able to line that up. Where's this hate crime bill that he be running around? Matter of fact, he cussed me out on Twitter and blocked me because I said, I wonder why Roland is, lying to black people. What's in it for him to lie to black people? He got mad, called me all kind of 50-11 idiots and this, that, the other, and, whatever, he didn't like being called to the carpet. But see, this right here tells you that he was lying. Brother Reggie says, Roland, you better stop. The buffet bandit Mark, you better quit. Black Pixie says, raise money for the boy and see what is said. Yeah, and I've seen people say, he needs a GoFundMe as well, but I don't think we should get in tit for tat of, well, we're going to raise more money because I just think, they going to do what they're going to do. That's their nature. Their nature is to vindicate foolishness. And like I said, I've seen a lot of them say, well, we're just tired of the white guilt. I ain't never felt guilty about nothing you've done to black people. Not one thing. There's nothing. Now all of a sudden you're trying to say y'all amen in her with what she said because we're sloughing off the white guilt. And as I say all the time, stop getting mad over that word. That word does not belong to us. That word was not made by us. That word was invented by them to degrade us. That's what that word is for. We don't own that word. I hate to hear black people say, you can't say that word because you ain't black. We should say we shouldn't say it because we black, because we didn't make that word. That word belongs to them. Why do we want to own the silliest stuff? We gatekeep the most silliest things on the planet. I don't care about that word. That's their word. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Farrakhan, and James Baldwin all said that word don't belong to us. But unfortunately, we act like that. We weren't acting like that until we came into contact with them people. We weren't. They turned us into that, and we continue to act in that way, and then have the nerve to be mad because somebody using that word. We have no pink slip to that word. When you hear one of them use that, unless they use it to your face and you want to, let the chips and the teeth fall where they may. But other than that, shoulder shrug. And so what? You ain't, as long as you don't say it to my face, you're going to be good.
Yeah, Shauna had a good comment too, but I'm going to just say this. This lady that was talking to the young black man, racist and all this other stuff. How many of you guys remember when the start of this Russian-Ukrainian war and the Africans were over there and they were letting the Ukrainian dogs get on the train and leaving the Africans behind? So this is nothing new. This shows you what white really means. I mean, we're told this by our ancestors. It's passed down generation to generation. And for some reason, in the modern age today, we act like everything is kumbaya freaking ya. And it's not. Nothing has changed under the sun. My mother tells me this. My mother, God bless her, as she's she's 20 years older than me. Love her to death. But I got to give her flowers. She is right. Nothing has changed under the sun. Ukrainian white means racism, hating black people and hating everybody. And they brought Joe Biden, the Democratic Party, brought 250,000 of them over here. And for some reason, you've been here and your family's been here for over 400 years. And these people are elevated above you. And we're all kumbaya with it like it's okay. And, and I'm going to say this, not to y'all, but to them sisters over there that are always gatekeeping and trying to keep everybody passive and peaceful and, oh, it's no big deal and stuff. No, we got to stop all that. We need to delineate, and that's it. They're over there. It's us versus them, period, at this point.
Absolutely. I'm going to go back to Brother Easy. You made a comment I want to talk about because I've actually seen people talk about it. Where did it go? Here it is. It says Trump have given police full immunity to turn up. So I've seen a lot of people talk about that. It is true to some degree. It is. Okay. That is something that is being talked about. So it is. But as I see people talk about it, I'm like, well, when did the Democrats protect black people. You know what I'm saying? Because I do hear a lot of Democrats talking about that. I guess some, whatever it is, laws that they're trying to do is supposed to make the police officer, the judge, jury, and executioner more so than they already are, right? But then you have to ask the question, when did the Democrats protect black people? To say that Trump is giving him the authority to turn up, were they ever turned down? That's the question we got to ask. Were they ever turned down? Were they ever turned down from the plantation when they was the patty rollers, when they were slave patrols? They never turned down. So I get it. Yes, that may be true, but they've always had full immunity. Biden left us unprotected. Kamala went to Tyree Nichols' funeral in Memphis, Tennessee, when those black officers, I want to reiterate that they were black officers that took Tyree Nichols' life. She got up in that pulpit and said, I'm going to go back to Washington and I'm going to tell Joe Biden to sign the George Floyd Justice and Police and that. Never even had a conversation with him. So so I just want y'all to have these talking points. When y'all people say, well, you know, Trump going to get in full immunity easy. It's not about you. I'm just saying in general, because I've seen this. Ask them, when were we ever protected? And when did cops not have full immunity to do what they want to do to black people, when they want to do it, and how they want to do it? When have they ever been absolved from that? The question is, or the answer is never. See, we got to be careful of the things that they ram into us because, I'm going to be afraid. Hell, easy. I know goddamn well you a black man in America. You already afraid no matter what political party is in that White House. You're afraid no matter what. And you shouldn't be.
Yeah, I just want to add this real quick. When I say that, Trump is not, he's the federal officer. He has no jurisdiction over local law enforcement agencies. But like you said, what's changed? Nothing. The Democrats use the boogeyman Trump as an excuse to say, see, he's letting all the police officers go ham. And that's not the case. They've always gone ham. So, we're seeing it the same way, but the Democrats are masters at making the victim look like the criminal and the criminal look like the victim.
Yeah, and so he only has jurisdiction over the federal level. However, you got to think about those judges and things like that are put in place. So they have some power. But again, the Democrats didn't see any value in black people. So what are they talking about? Brother Samuel, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Just greeting Demetria and Donovan. The ultimate sign that we are in slavery is for the enemy to train our thinking in such a way that we willfully do what he's used to do to us. The truth shall set us free. Absolutely. IRS, how you doing? Says the recovering Democrats. Roger says the spirit of Nat Turner rose up in that black father over the death of his son. Come on now. See, that's why I say too, especially when it comes into school, when they talk about, we don't want to teach black history. First of all, you ain't gonna teach it right. First of all, you ain't gonna never teach about Nat Turner. You safe with teaching about Martin Luther King. Now they barely talking about Malcolm X, but remember he was public enemy number one. But now you can go get his T-shirt in Target or whatever the case is. But they're not gonna teach you about Nat Turner or all the other slave rebellions that took place. See, they only make you think, it's just Nat Turner. No, our people turned up all the time. They just don't talk about it. See, they ain't gonna never teach you that. But bump what they gonna teach. Are you teaching your children that? So I totally agree with you. That's exactly what happened. Let's see, Rob, how you doing? He says, however, we cannot, and I do mean cannot allow these people to call our kids that the word. I agree. I'm not saying we should be all right with that, but you're not gonna keep on pulling my chain every time you say that word. Just don't say it to my face. If I see it online or whatever. And the other thing too is this is where we gotta, because we know them folks that sit up in those record companies, they want you to say those words. They give you a record deal, they want you to say those words. They want you to pump that into the children and the psyches of black people so you can believe that's all that you are. They don't have a problem with it. So that's the other thing. We got to look at both sides. Yeah, we should have a problem when they say it, and we should have a problem when they say it on wax or anybody else said, hell, I could be anywhere. I could be at Walmart, could be anywhere. And I hit a word from everybody. So does it really even belong to us now if everybody's saying it? And have we ever got made any money from the word outside of the rappers who are ultimately making money for the people who's giving them the checks to say that stuff? So I'm not saying we should normalize our children hearing it, but to educate your children. That ain't your word. Shawty says they've always had immunity. Nothing has changed. Right. JJ, he says FBA against the world. Mike says Democrats, Republicans equals two wings on the same bird. Yep. TS, how you doing? Says Democrats are the KKK and you blacks still jump through hoops for them. I don't know who you blacks are, but ain't no blacks over here jumping through hoops for nobody. Okay. Not the Democrats, not Obama, and not your mama. Just so you know. Mystical Black, it says, and the black community is going to activate stealth on there. All right, now, Brother Reggie says the Democrat Party only cares about deleting babies and protecting transformers. Come on now. And, you know, again, you don't hear Roland, nobody them say nothing about that. They just keep on keeping on. Michelle says now they will be more brazen because of Trump. Yeah, well, you know, it's a gamble at this point because our people going to be putting up with it, you know. Like Tracy said, I think it was Tracy, Sister Shirley, I think it was. Every black man ain't no punk. So, yeah.
And the thing is, it took a Trump to wake a lot of black people up. We're out here by ourselves, you guys. The Democrats haven't done nothing for us, even in the 60s. And I hate when people don't know knowledge of self. Well, you know, the Democrat, it was LBJ that signed the bill. He had to sign the bill. Who were the people that were against the civil rights movement? It wasn't the Republican Party. It was the Democratic Party. Come on, y'all.
Absolutely. Brian says we are focused on war with other countries, but it's a war in our own backyard. We are at war. You ain't lying. You ain't lying. Lisa, too. How are you? He says, hi, Dimitri and Donovan. I was called the word once in my life so far, but the person was never froggy enough to jump. Just saying. Yeah, I've been called that word a lot, especially when I was a kid by them folks, you know. That's why I say if you have never been privy to racism, you're lucky. But I have, you know, my family, we moved up to Ventura and Santa Barbara, which, you know, in the 70s and 80s. Was
very white.
Yes, one of the, you know, the very whitest places in California you could live, right? So we stayed up there for a while. Then, of course, we moved to the IE. We moved from Los Angeles. So, yeah, I experienced a lot of racism or whatever. A lot of it overt, some of it, you know, covert. But, you know,
you guys know when the show is over and me and Dimitri are speaking, she drops a lot of N-words toward me. I just want you guys to know.
And do and will. Brother Reggie says, never forget it was Obama that started the blue alert. Right. But again, them people don't ever want to talk about that. The blue alert was to protect the police, to let them know when something like what we're talking about now happened, that was to alert them. Hey, guys, you might want to just have your head on swivel because they, you know, they out there looking for you. But where does the black alert? Here's the black president in the White House and he giving blue alerts, but we didn't get a black alert. But yet his wife, Michelle, be all on all these podcasts talking about my biggest fear is Trump's deportation policy. Was it your biggest fear when your husband was doing it? I think not. Opal, he says, and how you doing, by the way? He says the race soldiers had qualified immunity when all of the Democrats were in office. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris wrote crime bills that harmed the black community. Joe Biden is the architect of the crime bills, and he said it with his whole chest that he was. GM South Carolina, how you doing? Say crashing out. Jewel, how you doing? Says Zach. And then I'm gonna jack that last name up so I can say it. He says video shows black Africans are being told they have a scholarship, then kidnapping them into the Ukraine war. Ain't that some mess? I don't want to fight for you. You ain't fighting for me. That is crazy. Now, Mike, I don't eat pork either. That makes a whole bunch of us, right? Pop, what's going on with you? You crazy? I see you coming here. You ain't gonna act right. Let's see. Let me skip down so I could catch up. American Copper Dragon, how you doing? Brother Samuel says that's taking Black history out of school is almost a trick for us to call for our own enemy to teach us. Come on now. They're a false version of our history, his story. Absolutely. Tracy says, I'm independent in the story. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? It's like, why would you want them to teach your children? They ain't going to teach them, right? IRS says, what do you think? What do y'all think is going to happen if they find those Memphis cops not guilty or give them qualified immunity? That'd be kind of hard to do. I don't think they'll find them not guilty. Didn't some of them get found guilty? And forgive me, I haven't been following it, but it's there in plain sight. They were right under a city camera and they didn't know it. So it's like, how can you say you didn't do what you did when we all saw what you did?
Yeah, and then usually when it's a crime against another black person, they're going to convict those black cops. That always happens. What was that young man in Minneapolis? He shot the the guy, and he went to jail immediately, almost the same as Derek Chauvin.
War Muhammad.
Yeah, and they sent him to jail immediately. They sent that guy to jail. The cop, he was a black cop, Ethiopian cop. They sent him to jail immediately. So.
You said the first person to call you the N-word was an Asian girl from China. Yeah, so they hear about that stuff up over there too, right? I saw a video of an Asian girl, I think it was in China, calling these black ladies the N-word. She said it a whole bunch of times too.
Wait, let me add to this. How many of you guys know who Richard Pryor is? I know a lot of young people that are like, who the hell is that? Rated one of the greatest comics of all time. Now, remember when we flew the Vietnamese here to the United States in like 1972 and stuff, when we were pulling out of Vietnam, and they went to these little camps, you know, and as they dispersed them. And I lived near the biggest, outside of Vietnam, the biggest community of Vietnamese in Little Saigon here in Orange County, California, not far from my house here. The first thing, now this was Richard Pryor on his album. He said the first thing that they teach them is how to say the word in.
Right. Okay.
That's the first. Yeah, right. Go look at that clip. I mean, it's a funny clip, but it's true. That's the first thing to be a good citizen. You got to know how to say that word correctly.
Yeah, I saw that. Brother Reggie, crazy. But you're right. There's Michelle up there. Michelle up there complaining about how expensive it was to live in the White House. Lady, get out of here with your rich self. Yeah, I saw she was saying that they had to buy their own food and pay for their own amenities and things. It's like, I just heard that the house, I think it's in the Hamptons or somewhere, wherever it is, selling for $39 million. It's like, and you complaining about buying food?
And that's kind of funny because no other president in their family had to pay for their food in the White House. That's all subsidized by tax dollars. So either she's lying, or if she wanted to be a normal person, maybe she did have to do that. But that doesn't make any sense to me because obviously being a black person, there's two different rules when you get to the White House.
Well, that's what she said. I don't know why she would lie, but that's what she said. Oh, yes, they have been teaching us a false narrative. Yeah, but you know, like I said, we should be teaching our children from the cradle about who we are, the history and all of that. I know that's the upbringing that I had. So, you know, my siblings and I went to school. He was like, yeah, okay. I told you about the time where, I don't know, the teacher did something to my sister. I think she was maybe kindergarten, first grade. And she called the lady a blue-eyed devil. And I called my daddy. And my daddy went up there and said, well, what did you do to her? Why would my daughter call you that? You must have did something to her. But I'm just saying, that's the upbringing that we had, right? My daddy did not bite his tongue at all. He taught us knowledge of self. It was, hey, this is what it is. Like I said, I never even heard the birds and the bees. I don't even know how that story goes. I heard what it was, right? So that's the upbringing that I had. And that's how I raised my daughter. My daughter didn't go to school thinking she was something she wasn't at all. Penta, I hope I said that right. Forgive me if I didn't. It said some of these folks gonna use an N-word and get got. Yeah, they'll say it from a speeding car or something, but they ain't gonna really be too close up to you, you know, and grabbing distance. Venus, how you doing? Says, hey, Demetri and Donovan. It says the old Webster defines the N-word, meaning ignorant. You know, that's, and Webster was a white man too. You know what I mean? That's what they say it means, ignorant, but we know exactly what it meant because they wasn't running around calling no white people the N-word, no Mexicans, no Asians. Nobody was being called the N-word, but us. But that's the way they justify using it. Oh, this means somebody that's ignorant. It's like if you don't stop lying. But anyway, it says new updated meaning is defined as a slur. There you go. Towards blacks and brown melanated people, wake up black folks. And it's not even toward brown people. And the brown people was on the plantation. It was black people. But see how they try to meld the black and the brown narrative? It wasn't called. Now I will say, you know, I'm from California. And yeah, Mexicans, they say it like it's, you know, like it's just second nature to them. And unfortunately, the word has become like really normalized. And I will say, not to give anybody excuse, I think a lot of times people just say it, especially depends on how you say it, right? If you say it with the hard ER, then yeah, then that's something else. But a lot of people just saying it with the A on the end for conversations. They shouldn't be saying it, but it just becomes so normalized. But they ain't have nothing to do with no brown people. IRS says the first thing they teach them is right. Facts, not feelings. How you doing? Says peace and love, family. Yes, indeed. This father chose the path of a life for a life. This is very interesting development in America moving forward. Very interesting. But, they're going to probably try to make an example out of him so that they could try to, how they do on the plantation, like they did with Nat Turner, right? We got to make an example out of him. We got to draw and quarter him, boil him up, sell all his body parts, and this, that, and the other in front of the town square so that there be no more uprisings. But I think, genie's already out of the bottle, and it's unfortunate. Tracy says they teach them that globally. Absolutely. Yeah, we've seen people all over the world are using it. Brother Ray says, was just watching Richard Pryor the other day. Yeah, he would have them folks getting up, leaving. He'd be on the stage less than 5 minutes, and they'd be like, we out. Black Pixie says, I don't know what racism was until Obama got in the chair. I heard it so much. I Googled it because I never heard it before. I only heard prejudice. Really? MC Fact, how you doing? Says the N-word usage should be banned as a hate word. The N-word usage should be banned for music. Respect starts at home. I agree, it should be banned from music. But we can ban it by not caring about it. It only has the power we give it. They only use it and call us that, well, because they're stupid. And another one is because they know it makes us mad. They know it lights a fire on it. And I'm not saying it shouldn't make you mad, but I would never, when I say never, I would never give them the satisfaction to see me any disposition in a negative disposition due to something they've said or done. I would never do it.
You know what? A quick trivia real quick. One of the top 10 greatest rap albums of all times during the gangster rap period, Demetra, had no curse words in it. Could you please name that artist?
Will Smith?
I said rap. Gangster rap.
A gangster rap.
Yeah.
Cam?
Yeah, that Cam's one, but the DOC, remember? No one can do it better. There was not one curse word in that album. Not one. So for when people say, oh, you can't make an album without saying the word. And I hate when young people say that. Yes, you can. If you know how to write and articulate the words and do it, because the DOC did it.
And Eric Ben and Rakim, he largely did it, And I listen to Rakim almost every day I'm at the gym, and I can't recall hearing any curse words. No, not that I can recall. Reality, how you doing? It says teach ours about their culture. He says, which is taking and displacing. Absolutely, we got to teach them. I mean, if not what you teaching your kids at home, if you ain't teaching about who they are. Herschel, how you doing? So that's true. Presidents do have to pay for their own meals. They do, however, get an allowance for entertaining at official dinners. Okay, got it. Reality says the N-word should be abolished. It's a money grab word. Absolutely. Like I said, them people who give them those big old record deals, they're not telling them not to say it, but you couldn't talk about them on that wax, could you? Absolutely not. Art, how you doing? Walaikum salam to you. He says, sister, no matter how you twist the N-word is extremely empowering to non-Black Americans. They're using it as an equalizer to whatever they lack. Yeah, it only could be the equalizer if you feel inferior. If you feel inferior or that word deduces you down to their level, then that's when it has power. But if you say, like, I don't know these people online, they're using the N-word, this, that, and the other. But they're not going to say it to your face because they're cowards. See, how could you bow down or let a coward? Think about that. You're letting a coward dictate how you feel. So you're going to give the coward more power? I think not. I'm just saying. Bernice, how you doing? He says, no, it's not our word. Latinos have hijacked the word while wearing high-faded. He says high-faded Jerry curls and dressing down in all black. They want to be N-words. Yeah, well, they gas. Real Life Live, how you doing? He says you're from St. Louis. Frankie says, while stationed in Wild Flecking, white soldiers called me an N-word, damn near killed him. Down there got court-martialed, and the white boy started it. Yeah, he won't do that no more, will he? Brother Samuel says, my white high school English teacher told me that I needed to go back to Africa to learn English. I remember my dad calling her house and telling her husband, let me speak to your damn wife. Right. You talk to me about going back to Africa. TS says, what does the N-word bother you so much? What does it mean to blacks? TS, I'm not sure what you own, but you might need to cut it in half. And I don't know who you are, what you are, but you about to be blocked, being up in black people business, being stupid. That's what I'm gonna say. Mr. Mystical, he said, yeah, Paul Mooney was another one. Yes, oh my God, he was, man. Well, yeah,
Paul Mooney actually wrote for Richard Pryor, so he
yes.
helped write some of the stuff. So, Godfather of stand-up.
And the Dave Chappelle Show. Sunlight says a number of people that America has to make an example of is increasing. People are revolting and don't care about the consequences. What do we have to lose? Yep. When you take what somebody has to lose, game on, right? Everybody was guessing. Yeah, Rakim. Yeah, I can't think of any curse words. YouTube user, how you doing? Says 14% population, 55% of all violent crime. Didn't mention that, did you? Where did we learn it from? YouTube user. Y'all like to gloss over that. Y'all like to gloss over that part of it. Where we learn it from? Y'all want to gloss over the violence that y'all was exacted upon us? Your daddies and your great granddaddies and all of them, and even to this day, taken from black women that the black women wasn't trying to give them, and even black men. Y'all like to gloss over all of that. Where y'all think you got it from? Because we know that everywhere y'all been in this world, y'all have caused havoc and destruction everywhere you've gone, and never want to take accountability for the things that you do. But somehow you want to point the finger at us. See, if you would have left us in peace, we wouldn't be here now, would we? So y'all want to create a firestorm and then act like you didn't have nothing to do with it. If you would have left us in peace, we wouldn't be having this conversation about who's the most violent or not. But anyway, I think you really know who the most violent is, and that's your great-great-granddaddy. So there. Heavy D as well. Let's see. R.I.P. to him. And P. Diddy going on trial tomorrow. I think it's the 11th. I think
it's something like that. Yeah. Heavy D. I wouldn't consider him gangster. I wouldn't consider him gangster. He's more New Jack Swing.
Yeah. TS, she says you're not white. Just logically answer. I don't care what you are at this point. What you are is getting on my nerves. Roger says, if we quit spending money on music and media with the N-word, it will go away because the white folks wouldn't be able to make money off it. Yeah, but it's a trick. They get these kids that ain't never had nothing. They got some skills, and they give them these big old giant contracts to sing and say the most disgusting things, and that goes into our community. So we can shun it, and we should, right? We should shun it, but you take its power away by going, I don't know.
Yeah, and you guys always got to remember, they put us at the bottom of this economic scale, right? So it's just like our athletes. You got these young kids that will go to college now based on their athletic ability, men and women. They're making all this money. So when you see these entertainers, especially the music industry, they come from the hood, and they've never had that kind of money. Wait. Speaking of the DLC, real quick. Do you guys know how much money he was given to make one of the top 10 greatest albums of all times, Demetra? Jerry Heller, what he was given? $25,000.
Well,
But think about it though. See, that's what I'm saying. When you come from an environment where you've never seen money like that, what do you think these record executives are going to do? They're going to say, here's some money. And then next thing you know, you got a Toni Braxton situation where she gets the basic deal. She sells millions of records and she's broke. TLC. So they just wanted the opportunity. They'll give you the fame, but they won't give you the money. And that's how the system operates. And we've seen the Lifetime movies and stuff. You guys, we all know what's going on. But again, they prey on these poor people because they want to eat. And that's all it's about. And I'm not down on anybody for their hustle. They want to eat. But by the time they realize what is going on, it's too late. Look at Mace. Our own people do it we do it to each other. Look at Mace. Diddy gonna give him his masters back after they're not worth anything? Come on now.
Yeah, it definitely needs to be education, but it's all part of the hustle. That's why I tell people to watch The Two Killings of Sam Cooke on Netflix. It's one of the best documentaries about music I've ever seen. The Two Killings of Sam Cooke is very telling. Yashin, how you doing? I'm glad you caught us live too. Ooh, we're over. We're about to get out of here in about 5 minutes, so let me get down to the comments. I love and appreciate every last one of y'all for being here with us on this fine Sunday afternoon. Benzin, How you doing? It says 80% of SA crimes. Who that? Come on now. They like to gloss over all that kind of stuff, right? And Jay, how you doing? It says it's racist and condescending when they use it to try to spark a response to get you set up for problems. When we use it, we think the crap is still funny or cool. Absolutely. ARE radio. It says once black people stop calling me the N-word, then I could take a stand when all these other groups said it's a word of aggression and hatred. Yeah, you know, and not to try to like interpret it, but a lot of people say it too. Like, you know, what's up? You know, type of thing or whatever. A lot of times they don't have any meaning to it, but we know where it originated from. It originated when they was harming us on those plantations. So absolutely. Black light. It says, who was the father and the son that did this, that got justice for his son? Look up the story in Cincinnati, Ohio. Rodney Hinton is the father's name. You can find the story. Raven, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. It says a blessing in disguise might be brewing as some African countries are pushing back against white countries, and we continue our war with whites in America. This could be the beginning of the bridge building with us and Africans as a survival mode plan. God is the greatest. Yes, indeed. Thank you, Tracy. I blocked them too, just in case. Yeah, they got blocked because they was getting on our nerves. Like, what's your point? Go playing traffic or something. I don't know. Machine says that's the old formula. It never stopped working. Okay. You talk about what Donald was talking about. Shaw says, you notice they didn't tell us anymore to go back. They don't tell us anymore to go back to Africa. Right. Like I said, I don't have a problem with it. Just give me my money. Avengers Ancestor says top 5 greatest albums, Don. MC Fact says finally, after going to Africa, Richard Pryor said he realized he was wrong to use the N-word in his comedy routine. This can be looked up. Fact. Okay. Tidbit, how you doing? He says just because we use it does not mean that folks can use it. But again, it's their word. They created the word. We didn't create that word. We got no ownership. Yashin says 25,000 carried on the damn stick. I almost got caught up in that mess years ago. Thank y'all, I got out. Yeah, 25,000. But you know, even Ice Cube said in No Vaseline, I think it was. I ain't gonna repeat the lyric, but he nailed it on the head. Ice Cube got a lot of songs. Black Korea is one of them. Like, you know, he talks about. Let me shut
White
up.
Cave chick.
I'm gonna be quiet. Yes, Brother Reggie. Mace got the last laugh. Yes, indeed. Mad Dog says back in the 80s and 90s, most of the East Coast rappers didn't curse. All the cursing came from the West Coast gangster rappers. Yes, and you know, they attribute the West Coast with gangster rappers, but that wasn't attributed. Gangster rap didn't come from the West Coast first. Anybody know where it came from first? Let me see who the hip hop heads are out there. Where did gangster rap come from first? Rob, it says Professor Black Truth every Friday morning called Crime Report. Okay, so that's what he does. Sunlight says, good point. Any black music executives ripping off artists knowing that history is proof of being influenced by the oppressor. Yeah, and they do it the most. We hear about that a lot with some of the black record execs. Puffy is probably one of the most notorious, right? Tracy says, call me the N-word and it's going to be a problem. I don't care who it's from. I heard that.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a guess real quick. Tim Dog. How many of you guys remember Tim Dog?
No. Brother Samuel says, Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said the new method whites use to make our slaves rich. YouTube title, Who Are the Real Children of Israel? Given in Atlanta, Georgia. I will have to check that out. My dad is always telling me, watch this one, watch that one, watch this one. Reality says it's called accountability. Don't use the N-word, period. Absolutely. I will co-sign that. Herschel says, what do you think about Donald Trump calling out NFL draft? I mean, I know that that definitely has the ear of the owners. I think Trump watches sports, and he's probably friends with Dion, right? I would imagine. And he's like, what the hell is going on? I think everybody was like, what the hell is going on here? Stop it. You're not going to deduce this down to this bad interview and all this other stuff. There's definitely collusions going on. So, yeah. JJ, what's going on?
Wait, did you guys know what's crazy about the Donald Trump thing? Even the people that have a Trump deranged syndrome, Trump was calling out something that everybody universally agrees was done wrong to Mr. Sanders, right? And yet, because they hate Trump so much, they won't even agree with him on that. That's what's crazy about this Trump deranged syndrome. he's calling out something that everybody agrees is wrong that was done to this kid, and yet because he's Donald Trump, they won't even agree with that.
Sharon, you saying the Bronx? I'm seeing a whole bunch of answers. Jay says gangster. California started gangster rap. I don't think so. Rashad, how you doing? Says Philly Schoolie D. Not from what I heard. Yashin, you says New York. Okay. Herschel says Schoolie D and Grandmaster Flash and the Furious 5. Not from what I heard. I don't know everything, but
Cool C and Steady B.
No, not Cool C. The Glamorous Life. I think he's still in prison. I know they were trying to give him the death penalty, but I think they converted it to life.
Yeah, he's life. He's life now.
Yeah. Mr. KG Smooth, you say doesn't matter. Okay. I'm just looking. Dimple Face, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Raven says KRS-One, Kumo D, top flight rappers who never curse but talk. Okay, so you're not okay. I get where you're going with that. Brother Sammy says New York and California meeting with rappers. Lord Flawless, how you doing? Let me see if anybody's guessed it. Ro, how you doing? Says, what are your thoughts about the Disney movie Song of the South? Well, you know, there's a lot of songs back then that were racist. A lot of cartoons, very racist. It was normal as American as apple pie. But of course, you know, when I guess people start to think about it, it's like, oh, yeah, you know, Tom and Jerry. I forget the name of the maid, but she was she had
the little bonnet and stuff on there.
And the real fat fingers, and she's, you know, got this big
overweight a little bit, right?
And, you know, high booty. You never saw her face, I don't think. What was her name? Was it Mammy or it's something?
Yeah, you never saw her face, but yeah, classic.
Yeah. Hey, Johnny, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Let's see who else came on here. Kenya, you say the South started gangster rap? I don't know.
Yes, KR Boogie Down Productions. Yes. I remember that.
We're on to somewhere. And they were actually, from what I understand, they were beefing with Nas and them, their crew. And it probably even went back before then, but that's who they had credited gangster rap to is KRS-One and Boogie Down Productions. They say they started gangster rap. And when you do the timeline, it's like, oh, okay. Yeah, because they was banging on wax.
Right. Well, what was the next album after that classic album that I have as well? But what was the next album after that for Boogie Down Productions? Because you used to remember when Boogie Down Productions came to RCC?
Yeah, I remember.
So what was the next album after that?
I don't know.
By Any Means Necessary. Remember he had the gun and stuff?
Yeah. I'm bad with titles and all of that, but yeah, I listen to my philosophy, quite a bit. Troy, how you doing? Since Schoolie D used to chase DJs down in the streets to try to get them to play his records. Okay, let's see who else came on here. I see y'all with a whole bunch of answers. Cottrell Clark, how you doing? Says Philadelphia Schoolie D. Okay. Troy says Dewan B already broke that down. Okay. Faquan says just Ice from the Bronx started gangster rap. Okay.
Brad Jordan, Scarface. I'm gonna have to go with my boy Buckhorse, Ghetto Boys. You gotta do it down there.
Right. Yes, Brother Reggie. I could not think of her whole name. Mammy Two Shoes. That was her name. Oh, you old cat. My God. Yes, Nicole, KRS-One. You got it. Ice-T. I met Ice-T. I remember I met Ice-T and Darlene. I was probably like 13, 14 myself, and they were in a McDonald's and off of Crenshaw somewhere. And they came in there. He was driving this busted station wagon. I think he had just did breaking and all of that. They came in there, was so nice. And we took pictures. I don't know where those pictures are. And I was like, man, he fine. Ice-T is fine. He an old man now, but I was like, my God. He was fine when he was young.
Yes, and guess where Darlene is from?
River Tucky from the IE.
Yep. She's from the Norco area. Absolutely.
Ramona High School.
Yes.
Yeah. She sits on the podcast with Corey Holcomb now. That's the Darlene that was on the
5150. Yeah, 5150 podcast.
Yeah. Brother Reggie says first hip hop murder, Scott LaRock of BDP. Yep. Brother Roy, how you doing? Says you guys to chill. EPMD, man, that album brings back memories. I swear, for God, don't get me started. We're gonna be here forever, and I'm.
My mom loves that album. She loves that album. You got to chill, and I'm strictly business. My mom used to sing that in the car. I'd be like, "What the?"
Antoine, you said, how you doing? Says the Frito Bandit is a racist cartoon from Frito Land. You know, I ain't never heard of that one. Interesting. King Noble says the bridge is over is dissing Queens. Yep, that is true. Rashad says Boogie Down Productions is the first to have guns on the album cover. Yeah, so, you know, and BDP or KRS-One, knowledge reigns supreme over nearly everyone, in case you know. Yeah, he's very conscious and all of that. So, I don't know. Jay says East Coast rappers were battle rapping. West Coast was gangster rapping. There you go. Sister Shirley says, Donovan, you said you love your mother to death. No, you love your mother to life. Yes, indeed. So I see y'all coming with the hip hop hacks. Norma X, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Brother Reggie, don't get yourself in trouble. Talking about OG Darlene, that album cover, my Lord. She recreated it, I think maybe like 10 years ago or so.
Yeah, she's still, I mean, you know, and that's a shame. That's the shame. This woman could recreate that. But I think she only had one child. I think they only had one son together.
Yeah, they have a son.
So,
yeah.
So, but outside of that, she looked good, you know, 10 years ago too. So
I mean, she's an older woman. I think she's 55, 56, so she up there, you know. Hey, Rodney. Yeah, Tracy, Ice-T was fine. Oh my God. And you had to see him in person, which I did. I saw him and Darlene. They were very nice. Very nice. And let's see. DJ Specs, she says EPMD. Yep. Almost got in trouble a whole lot. I ain't gonna tell you I'm my business.
Well, my thing is Big Daddy Kane, man, the Juice Crew All Stars, man, with Marley Marl and all that. Remember the symphony?
Yes. Ravi says Shadur Sanders said the biggest disappointment was not going late, but his mentor Tom Brady didn't vouch for the Raiders to pick him up when they came up. They needed a quarterback. Brady owns a piece of the Raiders. Lesson Shadur. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Yes. Sunlight. He was married to Miss Melody. I think they divorced before she passed away. R.I.P. to her. Yeah. Good times. Good times in music. Yashin says EPMD, the beginning of the sampling of the absolute hell out of more bounce to the ounce. You ain't lying, boy. EPMD, boy, that album, boy, I think I was in 11th grade when that came out. Yeah. Herschel says I'm standing by Schoolie D on Saturday night. Okay, I'm not trying to debate. I don't know everything. I could be wrong. IRS says Ali made a diss song that had curse words against Joe Frazier back in the 70s. For real? Okay. Diane, what's going on with you?
When you order a drink, you like smoking Joe. But when you don't drink, you don't say no more. Remember that commercial? You were probably too young, but yeah.
I wasn't even born. What the hell? Tracy says, Demetri, to me, not even close. You don't think Ice-T is fine. He ain't finer than Ice Cube, though, which I will be going to see Ice Cube in September. Just want y'all to know I'm making a special appearance at his concert. Just so y'all know, I will be in the building.
Are you dancing back up?
No.
Are you singing back up?
No.
I'm just asking because you know you're famous for being in the DVD videos with your Tims and everything.
I'm just gonna be throwing up the W's with my Chucks on. That's about it. You know, that's it. Nothing major. You know, Ice Cube is married, but I love Ice Cube though. I always have. King Nova says Coogee Rap and Big Daddy Kane, the symphony. Yes, Big Daddy Kane, boy, he's still fine. Big Daddy Kane is still fine. Yes, he is. He's taking care of himself. He looks really good. Love's gonna get you. Yes, indeed. KRS-One. Let's see. He says Ice Cube looked too gross to me. No, Ice is fine. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, right? Jules says KRS-One. We woke now YouTube channel. It says YouTube channel. Change now. Praise the Most High. So he has a YouTube channel. Yeah, the Ice Cube show is gonna be crazy, and I plan to be there for every moment of it. Yes, the Batarang. And
Toddy
you stop it, baby.
Batarang.
Man, now we showing our age. Yes, indeed. Facts and Feelings says Lauren Hill was always your dream girl. I bet.
Oh man,
right.
OG Lives put out Latrim. We like the cars. Hey,
That's
OG, I got that album. I have 3 of their albums. So again, I mean, I'm
a 3.
Yeah, they have 3 albums. Yeah,
Let alone 3 songs.
It's crazy, but the albums all sounded pretty much the same. But believe it or not, you guys, I've got over 2,000 albums that are digital. I digitized them, whatever, that aren't in print, and so I could sit here with you guys all day and just go over music, just music.
Dr. Dre, all right. He was cute.
Before you turn off the lights.
Yes. The man. Yeah, Dr. Dre, he all right. Yeah. Go to his page, Sagittarius God is a Big Daddy Kane got a page. He's very active on there. He don't put up with the foolishness at all. He be like, I will block you. Okay, he block game is strong. MC Fact says, well, I hope Ice Cube doesn't start using perfect. Now you know he is. Come on now. You got to overlook the curse words and listen to what he's saying. You know,
go watch the video. I'm your pusher, darling, in there dancing. Oh man, you can't beat that video.
Right. It was ahead of its time, that's for sure. Yeah, somebody said, can I sing? I can't sing right now. I don't know. I've been suffering with laryngitis. My voice is a little stronger today. My daughter has to remind me to shut up. Katrina, how you doing? Yes, it is our pleasure. Let's see who else came on here. Did I not see? What you saying about Dre? Tracy Bernie says Curtis Blow started all with these are the breaks. Yes. Yeah, Curtis Blow seemed like he was in a lot of beefs, wasn't he? Him and Kumo D and LL Cool J was even in one, believe it or not. Yeah, it was quite a few of them. Brother Sam says, I believe the NFL owners got to relive the old school slave auction with the draft process and will try to break any slave that acts too free. You ain't lying. Somebody says Dr. Dre is a better beat maker than rapper. I like him as a rapper too. I like him as a rapper. But yeah, he definitely is iconic as a producer, bar none, right? Totally agree with you on that. Ice Cube, I think, is coming to Houston. I think I'm not gonna see him in Houston, no. I'm going to Florida to see him in Florida. I don't like seeing concerts too much in Houston.
It's too funky for you?
Nah, it ain't that. It's nothing. Reggie says Poison Clan had a carjacking skit. Man, the 80s and the 90s was wild. You just had to be there, right? I tell my daughter all the time, man, you had to be there. The 80s, and she was born in 92, but the 80s.
She was there. She was just in your stomach.
Right. But you had to be there in the 80s. That was a time. I almost shed a tear the other day. When I forget what I was listening to. I was watching something. I said, man, if I could just go back for a week. I just go back to the 80s for a week. I'll be happy. Jason, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. So anyway.
See, look, I can't leave this broadcast without mentioning, and we're mentioning gangster rap, a lot of these great rappers on the East Coast, Curtis Blow, Sugar Hill, all these great folks, right? What was the group Angie Stone was in? The Sequins, Finesse, what was it? Finesse and Sequins or something like that?
Yeah.
But Demetra, how in the hell can you not mention the native tongues? And I know a lot of you guys don't know nothing about the native tongues because y'all are just too young. Y'all don't know nothing about the native tongues. Queen Latifah, Black Sheep, A Tribe Called Quest, the leaders of the new school. Shall I go on and on and on?
Who are you talking to? and the Jungle Brothers, De La Soul. Who are you talking to? I don't know who you think you talking to. Jason Curtis Blow said in 2005 on New York Public Access Channel, Russell Simmons is an FBI snitch in anger. What? I don't know. So he said Ice Cube doesn't cuss that much. He'll use a cuss word every now and then, but he don't cuss like crazy. Yeah, he gonna drop it where it needed to be dropped, right? I ain't gonna lie. One of my songs to do the elliptical to is the N-word you love to hate. Y'all can judge me or whatever. That song just really gets me going. What Irish says better pay Jay Prince his check-in fee. You talk about if Ice Cube is coming here. I don't know. I think he's coming here. Yeah, I remember Orange Juice Jones. Yep, iconic. Reggie says I graduated high school in '91. DJ Quick first album had just dropped. Yes, I know that I was in the club on that one. That was a great dancing song. Absolutely.
Remember Checkers? He was at Checkers. Everybody went over to Checkers in Riverside.
Yes, I remember. Dum, 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 Man, I'ma shed a tear. I'ma shed a tear. I remember being at the Club Metro dancing to that. Whew.
Wait, and stop. See, obviously, if you mention DJ Quick is not an art. He's an artist. He's not a rapper. He calls himself an artist because have you ever heard him live with his instruments? I got his album, that DJ Quick Live at the House of Blues. If you haven't got that album, get that album because he raps, to live instruments. Oh my God, it's so good. It is so good.
You said Nicki Minaj started the whole female rap movement?
MC Light, who was there with the... come on now. Come on, we could go back.
Chirac?
Real Roxanne? Or Roxanne Shante, I'm sorry. Roxanne Shante.
Nicki? See, I don't ever even think Nicki should be in the top 10 when it comes to female MCs. They put her even like number 2 or 3 of all time. And I'm like, who nepotism child is making this list?
That's like these fools that be putting what's his name? LeBron. God, get this man out of LA as the GOAT. When you got to keep calling yourself the king and all this other stuff, you ain't all that. Been in LA for 8 damn years, and we got a Mickey Mouse championship, and he always has excuses. I just think, the younger generation, these are the participation trophy kids. Everybody should win. It's crazy.
I remember Debbie Dab. Somebody says, what do you think about the center? I loved it. I saw it twice. I want to go see it again. Excellent movie. Excellent to the point to where I really want to go see it for a third time. And I know it would feel like I didn't see it for a third time. That is a great movie. Well put together movie by Ryan Coogler. Big ups to him. Michael B. Jordan and the rest of the crew. Is just a great movie, all from beginning to end.
Yeah, Sunlight says DJ Quick was nice and so good looking. Demetra, remember DJ Quick's daughter got in trouble in, I think, Las Vegas or something? I think she was going to prison or something. It was something serious. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? When she was, his daughter had gotten a lot of trouble. So I got to follow that up.
Exactly, Sonya. Who you talking to? Shoot. Jason says, I'm surprised the legendary Ice Cube wasn't blackballed. He used to go in on them folks. Yeah. When you a black man with no fear, what they gonna do, right? So yeah, that's one of the reasons why I always love Ice Cube, because he gonna say what he needs to say. He ain't gonna bite his tongue. Unfortunately, black people did him dirty during the 2020 election. Call him all kind of sellout and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, man, Ice Cube didn't deserve that, and not just because I love him, but because he didn't deserve that. He was really trying to do something for black people, and Ice Cube, whether you know it or not, has always tried to do something for black people, waking us up. Well, I know he got in on the gangster rap, and you could consider him to kind of still be in that vein. But Ice Cube's music was always conscious. If you just listen to the lyrics, he's always been conscious, always been dropping the knowledge, right? But yeah, I agree with you. Mad Dog says, I'll be on the Stairmaster listening to the Juice Crew Symphony. Got you. All right, so let's see. Yeah, DJ Quick was fine with the permanent and everything. Who said she must be a Zoomer? I know I'm not a Zoomer. What's a Zoomer? You mean a baby boomer? Or you mean no, I'm Gen X. I don't even know what that means. I'm scared to even ask. Lady of Rage. Yep, love Lady of Rage. X-Clan, absolutely. All of that. Lisa. Bahamadia. You know how many times people have told me that I look like Bahamadia? I'm like, I don't see it. You know how we do. I'm just playing. I don't see it, but I guess. The rapping Duke. The ha. Woo, I'm telling my age. Yes, Conscious Daughters. Yeah. Millie Jackson was my mom in them age. But I know who she is though.
F you. F you, F you. She did a whole song on F you.
Okay, was you talking about Nikki D? I don't know, not Nicki Minaj. I think you said Nicki Minaj. Yeah, I think they was talking about Nicki Minaj. Yes, MC Light, absolutely. I'm just looking at the comments, but yeah, we better get out of here. La flop, what? Yo, you can't mess with my yo. Yep, love some yo too. Or play with my yo or whatever it was.
See, look, if y'all didn't even mention HWA, I don't know what to tell y'all. What about BWP? Black Women with Problems.
They tried. They you know what though, Brother Reggie White? People think you're playing. Yeah, but Blondie was, yeah, the Rapture. Sure did. Fab Five Freddy was in on that one. Absolutely. Yeah, I remember the Convicts. I've heard of them. Let's see. Salt and Pepper. Oh yeah, they're inducted into the Hall of Fame too. Mo Durden, how you doing?
What about Kid and Play, Salt and Pepper, Kwame, all those guys under Herbie Lovebug?
Yeah. Salt and Pepper is inducted into the Hall of Fame. You know, which is crazy that they haven't already been in there. You said the hip hop documentary. I don't think I've seen that. I don't think Big Rich, how you doing? Says Ice Cream Death Certificate is a masterpiece. They're all masterpieces to me, but maybe I'm a little biased. Hey, Average Logical Thinker, how you doing? Dimple Face says, did you take him to the beach? Hell no, in the middle of December when it's 20 below. That's clearly a rap lyric from somewhere. You say Millie Jackson started gangster rap. You crazy, Brother Reggie. Jay says Cube came out vicious. He's scared the world. So to calm him down, they started giving him movie deals for more money. Yeah, and they still was trying to control that. From what I heard him say, Art says female rappers lost their mojo right after Little Kim. You can't find any female rappers mainstream that you could play in front of little girls, and even a lot of Lil Kim stuff you didn't hear on the radio. And that's the argument I always tell people when they say, "Oh, what about Lil Kim?" You never heard Big Mama Thing playing on the radio. You didn't hear that song. And some of the others, now you heard, Crush and all that other stuff. But I didn't hear it on the radio. I never did. That was brown paper bag music right there. The Loonies, yep, absolutely. Simo says, sad topic to engage family. We are in that hour. Please stay vigilant. And thanks to Demetri and Donovan. Thank you. About to get out of here because I'm busting a sweat and I'm tired. And see, fact says, I don't think Curtis Blow ever used for profanity. A lot of them didn't back in the day because they really couldn't, right? But now it's like, yeah, say whatever you want to say. Somebody says, I had that polka dot outfit. Oh, yeah, we forgot about Kwame. Yep, I saw Kwame in the polka dots. I sure did at Club Monopolies. Yeah, I did say that, Brother Reggie, 30 minutes ago, and here we are. The MC Hammer, I don't care what nobody say. MC Hammer it was one of the greatest to ever do. I don't care what nobody say. I do not care. UTFO.
That first album, oh my gosh.
Love some UTFO. Love UTFO. Sure do. Yeah, we started drifting on memories. CM, how you doing? Says, wasn't Obama responsible for signing off on the executive order of Gaddafi? Yeah, he sure was. Anyway, let's go ahead and get out of here. Special Ed, y'all, come on, don't get me started. Special Ed was so fine. Nowadays, he's an older man.
Yeah, he's older man.
Man, I'm like, I got a mission for you. I got a mission for you, brother.
Oh my God! Produced by Howie the Hitman, who also did Chub Rock. Treat him right.
Oh man, I had a mission for him to go on, but he never went on it. Anyway, yeah, I think it says I used to record music from videos. Yo MTV Raps was Special Ed, Kwame, all of them. Absolutely, that was old school. There's a radio station in Riverside, 88.1, and on Sundays there was
college. Yeah, that's the college radio.
Yeah, R&B and all that, and you had your tape recorder ready, and you press play. You could call up. Man, I can't tell you how many times I had a boy back then make a dedication to me, and all that. That's when you could call up and say, I want to dedicate something to woo, just that, the other. And all of that.
Yeah, remember that? Remember when I called Art LeBeau for you and I said, I want to dedicate a B is the B to my girl, Demetra.
Yeah, okay. All right. Yes, I like special. I like, listen, I told you I like Big Daddy Kane. My baby daddy look like Big Daddy Kane. Or he used to. Now he look like Biz Markie. He watches sometimes. I love you, baby daddy. Mwah. But he know he look like Big Daddy. He was, ooh, fine. I used to see him on when I met him at the Metro at the club. Yes, I did. Remember baby daddy at the club. Most of my homies met their baby daddies and their baby mamas at the club. No shame in the game. He was in the Marines. They come up for 29 pounds, all of them for the weekend. And I saw him, and him and his homies, they would have a routine. And he was, doing backflips and all kind of stuff. And he let him tell it. He says that I came up to him. He wasn't feeling well that night. And so his friend hooked up with my friend, and I was tired. So I think I sat next to him or whatever the case is, and he was feeling bad. So I said, oh, you feeling, you don't feel well? And he said, no, I don't feel well. So I took care of him, made sure he had some 7-Up or whatever at the time, and just made sure he felt nice and all of that. And from that point, we started dating. And he'll tell you, he says, I treated her so bad, and she was always very nice to me. She cared about me. When she didn't know me in the club, I was sick, and she took care of me. But yeah, he says he treated me bad. I'm glad that he's learned the error of his ways. Anyway, yes, I remember the album warnings, explicit lyrics, but I don't even know if they do that anymore. Yep, the cassette tapes. Anyway, I love y'all. We're going to get out of here. Oh, El Padrino, how you doing? Says we love drama. What? What's that? I don't even know what that is. Yeah, Big Daddy Kane still got it. Oh man, he just aged fine. Tracy says Demetra R's was a quiet storm for dedication here in Philly. Yeah, they have something like that in Los Angeles. They got one in Houston too, from I understand, a quiet storm type of thing. Brother Reggie says, Demetra, you need to change the name of the show to Overtime. You ain't lying. Brother Raven, he says, what about the overnight overweight lover Heavy D? Oh yeah, I love Heavy D. Love RIP to him. I think unfortunately he was probably the first casualty of Diddy. We're gonna find out. Maybe we won't. Let's see. Art LeBeau, he just passed like a couple years ago. Alonzo, where have you been? Where have you been missing in action? Well, thank you. He says, just watching. I'm back in the day with Gil Scott Heron. Good night. Okay, so that's where you at. He said that's your tolerance level right there. I don't blame you. Earlier, not that y'all care. I was in the backyard. My daughter and I were getting a tan because I got to, I'm not usually, and I'm a little lighter now because of the light, but I'm actually a little bit more brown than I appear to be. But I laid out in the backyard. And as I was laying out in the backyard, I turned on Donald Byrd and Places and Spaces, which is an iconic album. You can listen to it from beginning to end. It was my mama's favorite album, and it became one of my favorite albums. One of those you can listen to from beginning to end. And yes, I was, psh. All right, turn over. Psh. It was just a great afternoon.
Hey, I know you guys are too young, but if you haven't heard of my man Thelonious Monk, I don't know what to tell you.
Oh, absolutely. Super Wolf. I don't know about that, Brother Roy. Sunlight says this was a great show down memory lane, family. Great vibes to start the week. Peace, family. Yes, indeed. So I might come back here tomorrow to talk about some. I don't know. We'll see, but definitely we'll be here Tuesday. Donovan and I. So in the meantime, yes, Donald Byrd, boy, I tell you, and the Blackbirds, that's some good music right there. Anyway, love and appreciate every last one of y'all. See y'all later. Peace.